We live in a world that measures health by numbers: blood pressure, cholesterol, BMI. But what if I told you the real marker of aging isn't in a lab test? It's in how easily you climb a flight of stairs. In Japan, where people routinely live past 90, one remarkable doctor, now over 100 years old, has revealed a truth that's both simple and profound. Longevity isn't about how many years you add to your life, but how much strength you keep in your legs. Forget the fancy gym memberships or the latest anti-aging pills. According to Japan's oldest practicing physician, there are just 3 exercises you need to keep your independence, stability, and dignity well into your 60s, 70s, and beyond. And here's the best part. These movements aren't about building muscle for show. They're about maintaining the metabolic power that keeps your body young from the inside out. Today, I want to share with you these 3 deceptively simple leg exercises and the science behind why they work, not just to help you climb stairs, but to help you age with strength, not frailty. We've been sold a lie about aging. We've been told that if we just live longer, we're winning the game. But longevity without function, without independence, without the ability to move, climb, and live is not success. It's survival. And there's a big difference between the two. When you hit 60, the conversation around health starts to change. Suddenly, it's about managing blood pressure, cholesterol, and glucose. You start collecting prescriptions instead of experiences. But here's the truth. Your ability to live well after 60 doesn't depend solely on those lab results. It depends on whether you can get up from a chair without using your hands, walk up a set of stairs without gasping, or carry your groceries without losing balance. That's functional longevity, the quality of your years, not just the quantity. And if you talk to Japan's oldest practicing doctor, that's exactly what he'll tell you. He's seen patients who are technically healthy by modern standards, stable blood sugar, no heart issues, yet they can't walk a block without pain. Then he's seen 90-year-olds who can still climb stairs with ease, because they've kept one simple thing: strong legs. Now, why does this matter so much? Because the legs are your foundation. They are your body's power plant. The muscles in your thighs, hips, and calves do far more than just move you around. They control how your metabolism operates, how your blood flows, and even how your brain functions. Yes, your brain. Studies now show that people with greater leg strength in later life have better cognitive function. The reason? Movement drives circulation, and circulation delivers oxygen to the brain. When you move less, you think less clearly. When your legs weaken, so does everything else. Let's take a look at the Western approach to aging. We fight symptoms, not causes. We inject, medicate, and replace, but we rarely strengthen. In contrast, Japanese culture, particularly among its elders, prizes the concept of ikigai, a reason to get up every morning. And to get up, you literally need your legs. They walk, they garden, they climb, they move with purpose every day. That's not a coincidence. It's a lifestyle. It's functional longevity in action. Functional longevity means preserving autonomy. It's the ability to go where you want, when you want, without relying on someone else's arm for balance. It's about maintaining your identity, because when mobility goes, independence goes, and with it, confidence. And once confidence goes, people stop moving, and the downward spiral begins. It's not aging that steals vitality, it's inactivity. The Japanese doctor's message is deceptively simple. The best anti-aging medicine isn't found in a pill, it's found in motion. Every step you take strengthens your life expectancy, not by years on a chart, but by moments you can still experience fully. The key is not to think of exercise as something you have to do, but something you get to do, a privilege, because every time you choose to move, you're choosing to live better. Think about this: climbing a single flight of stairs uses almost every major muscle in your lower body. Your quadriceps, hamstrings, calves, and glutes all engage in perfect harmony to lift you upward against gravity. That act alone increases blood flow, strengthens bone density, and challenges your balance system, one of the first things to decline with age. That's why stair climbing is one of the best natural tests of functional longevity. If you can do it easily, your body's still got plenty of life left in it. But this isn't just about exercise, it's about mindset. Modern medicine tends to separate the mind and body, but they're one system. When you move, you produce endorphins, you sharpen memory, you regulate insulin, and you protect your heart. All of these systems are tied together through movement. A sedentary life, no matter how well managed on paper, is a slow path to frailty. Dr. Lustig often reminds us that the real disease of modern society isn't just metabolic syndrome, it's disconnection. Disconnection from real food, real rest, and real movement. The Japanese doctor's three-leg exercises are more than a fitness plan. They're a way to reconnect to your muscles, to your purpose, and to the biological truth that humans are designed to move. So, if you're over 60, the challenge isn't to live forever. It's to live freely, to keep walking, keep climbing, and keep participating in your own life. Because every step you take is a message to your body. I'm still here. I'm still capable. Functional longevity is the art of maintaining your freedom through movement. You don't need to chase youth. You just need to preserve your strength. The Japanese doctor's wisdom is clear. When your legs stay strong, everything else follows. And that's the real measure of health. Not how long you live, but how well you move through the years you have left. If there's one thing most people misunderstand about aging, it's this: we don't grow weak because we grow old. We grow old because we grow weak. And the weakness begins in our legs. Your legs are not just limbs that carry you from point A to point B. They are the engine of your entire body. They are the foundation of your metabolism, your balance, your independence, and ultimately your longevity. When your legs go, everything else follows. Let's look at this from a biological point of view. Your legs contain the largest muscles in your body, the quadriceps, hamstrings, glutes, and calves. These muscles are metabolically active tissue. That means they consume energy, regulate glucose, and keep your metabolism humming. The more you use them, the more energy your body burns, and the more efficiently it manages blood sugar and fat. The less you use them, the more your body begins to shut systems down, one by one. Now here's the shocking truth. After the age of 30, you begin losing about 3–5% of your muscle mass each decade if you're not actively maintaining it. By the time you hit 60, that number can double. This is called sarcopenia, muscle loss associated with aging, and it's one of the most underdiagnosed conditions in modern medicine. Doctors often treat its symptoms, fatigue, balance problems, frailty, but rarely address the root cause, loss of leg strength. Think about it. Every time you stand up, climb stairs, or even get out of bed, your legs are doing most of the work. They stabilize your spine, pump blood back to your heart, and help maintain posture and coordination. Weak legs mean less stability, more falls, and slower recovery from even minor injuries. In Japan, where people are famous for their longevity, physicians have long understood this relationship. That's why even in their 80s and 90s, you'll see older Japanese men and women walking, squatting, gardening, and practicing Tai Chi. They don't move because they're still healthy. They're still healthy because they move. The Japanese doctor's message is simple: leg strength is life strength. It's not about aesthetics or vanity. It's about biology. When your legs are strong, your cardiovascular system works better. Your bones stay dense and your nervous system remains alert. When your legs weaken, you stop moving. And when you stop moving, your body interprets that as decline. Evolutionarily speaking, movement meant survival. The brain knows that if you're not moving, you're not hunting, gathering, or escaping danger, and so it starts powering down unnecessary systems. That's why inactivity accelerates aging. There's also a metabolic connection here. Strong leg muscles act like a sponge for glucose. They absorb sugar from the bloodstream, keeping your insulin levels steady. When you lose that muscle tissue, your body becomes less sensitive to insulin and blood sugar rises. Over time, this leads to insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and inflammation, the very drivers of chronic disease and premature aging. You can't medicate your way out of that. You have to move your way out of it. Dr. Lustig often talks about how modern society has replaced effort with convenience. We've engineered movement right out of our lives. Escalators instead of stairs, cars instead of walking, screens instead of play. And with every shortcut, we lose a little more of our strength, not just physically but metabolically. The Japanese doctor, now over a century old, still practices what he preaches: daily movement, intentional leg training, and a diet that supports muscle health. He doesn't chase longevity, he earns it one step at a time. When we talk about leg strength, we're really talking about vitality. It's not just the ability to walk, it's the ability to live fully, to play with your grandchildren, to travel, to climb, to explore. Strong legs give you access to life. Weak legs confine you to a chair. And once the chair becomes your home base, the rest of the body follows suit. Your digestion slows, your heart weakens, and your spirit dims. That's not aging gracefully. That's surrendering to preventable decline. And here's the thing. Rebuilding leg strength doesn't require a gym membership or expensive equipment. The body itself is the perfect tool. Squats, heel raises, and step-ups. Simple, controlled movements activate nearly every muscle in the lower body. Performed regularly, they not only restore power, but also improve circulation, balance, and joint flexibility. These aren't exercises for athletes, they're medicine for everyone. Leg strength also carries psychological weight. When you feel strong, you move with confidence. You engage with the world instead of retreating from it. That mental shift is powerful. It transforms "I can't" into "I still can." And that attitude, that quiet resilience, is what truly defines healthy aging. Because health isn't about avoiding death. It's about living fully until the very end. So yes, leg strength equals life strength. It's the single most important investment you can make in your health after 60. Every squat, every climb, every step tells your body, "I'm still in control." That's the message that keeps your metabolism sharp, your heart strong, and your brain young. The Japanese doctor's wisdom, backed by a lifetime of practice, can be summed up in one line: if you want to stay alive, stay on your feet, literally. Because the moment you stop moving, life starts to move on without you. We live in a culture addicted to complexity. The more advanced something sounds, the more we believe it must work. Fitness programs with 10 steps, diets with 30 rules, supplements that promise miracles in molecular detail, all of it feeds our obsession with more. But here's the irony: the human body thrives on simplicity. It was designed to move, to eat real food, to rest, and to repeat. When it comes to maintaining strength, especially after 60, the Japanese doctor's message couldn't be clearer. Forget the fancy routines. You only need 3 basic leg exercises to preserve your ability to move freely and age gracefully. That's it. 3. Why is simplicity so powerful? Because the body understands repetition, not confusion. Each movement you practice consistently becomes a message to your muscles, your brain, and your metabolism: keep this ability alive. When you complicate things with unnecessary gadgets or programs, you create friction. Friction kills consistency, and inconsistency kills results. The Japanese doctor, who's seen more than a century of patients come and go, learned that the people who age best are not the ones doing the most, but the ones doing the right things regularly. Dr. Lustig often talks about how modern medicine overcomplicates health. We chase data, not outcomes. We track our steps, calories, and heart rate, but forget to actually live. The same applies to fitness. We've turned movement into math, reps, sets, zones, macros, when the goal should be functional strength, not performance metrics. What the Japanese doctor discovered through decades of experience is that 3 simple movements, ones that mimic daily life, are more effective than any gym machine. Think about it. Every day you sit down and stand up, you climb stairs, and you balance on one leg while walking or reaching. Those motions, squatting, stepping, and stabilizing, are the essence of human movement. They train strength, balance, and coordination all at once. And yet, we've somehow convinced ourselves that health requires a complicated plan and expensive tools. It doesn't. The truth is humbling. Your own body weight is the best gym you'll ever own. Let's break this down further. A simple squat, done slowly and with control, activates your quadriceps, hamstrings, glutes, and core, the powerhouse muscles of the body. Do it daily, and you maintain the ability to stand up from a chair or toilet without effort. The step up, the second exercise, trains the movement pattern of climbing stairs. It strengthens your legs while improving balance and coordination. The third, a heel raise or single leg balance, trains the small stabilizing muscles around your ankles and knees, the ones that keep you from falling. 3 movements. That's all it takes to preserve your freedom of motion. This simplicity isn't just efficient, it's sustainable. A complicated workout routine may look impressive on paper, but it rarely lasts. People burn out, lose motivation, or injure themselves. The Japanese doctor's approach, in contrast, is rooted in realism. He knows that a 70-year-old doesn't need to train like a 25-year-old athlete. What they need is consistency, a small daily practice that fits naturally into their life, 5 to 10 minutes a day, no equipment required. This isn't about exercise, it's about maintenance. You don't wait for your car to break down before changing the oil. You maintain it so it runs smoothly. Your body deserves the same. Simplicity also brings mindfulness back into the equation. When you're not distracted by machines or numbers, you start paying attention to how your body moves, how your joints feel, how your breathing syncs with motion. This awareness creates a connection between mind and body, something that modern life often strips away. And it's that connection, that presence, that transforms exercise from a chore into a ritual. There's another reason why simplicity works. It's forgiving. You can't fail at it. You can't miss a class or lose progress because you forgot to log your reps. You just move every day in whatever capacity you can. And in doing so, you tell your body, I still need you. That message alone keeps your muscles active, your metabolism awake, and your spirit engaged. Complexity breeds excuses. Simplicity breeds consistency. We've been conditioned to think that more effort equals more results. But in reality, it's better effort that matters, the right kind of movement done regularly and with purpose. The Japanese doctor's 3 exercises aren't revolutionary because they're new. They're revolutionary because they work. They strip away the noise, the marketing, and the gimmicks and return to what matters most, movement as medicine. And that's the essence of Dr. Lustig's philosophy as well. Whether he's talking about food, sugar, or exercise, the cure isn't complexity. It's clarity. Health isn't built in a lab or sold in a bottle. It's built in small daily acts that respect the body's design. Simplicity isn't the easy way out. It's the only way that lasts. So, if you want to climb stairs easily after 60, don't chase complicated solutions. Do the simple things and do them well. 3 exercises, 5 minutes a day. That's not a workout plan. That's a promise to yourself. Because simplicity isn't about doing less, it's about doing what matters most and doing it for the rest of your life. There's a certain irony in the fact that some of the most advanced insights in modern health come not from a new discovery but from a man over 100 years old. Japan's oldest practicing doctor, still sharp and active, has spent his lifetime watching patients age, some gracefully, others painfully. Through decades of observation and practice, he's come to one conclusion that aligns perfectly with the latest science. The key to aging well isn't found in technology or pills, but in the preservation of natural movement, particularly through leg strength. His message is both timeless and timely. The science finally caught up to what he already knew. For years, Western medicine has approached aging as something to fight, a disease to be treated, a problem to be fixed. But the Japanese approach, rooted in both medical insight and cultural philosophy, is different. It's about balance, not battle. It recognizes that the body is not a machine to be patched up, but a living system to be maintained through harmony and movement. That's what makes this doctor's teaching so powerful. He doesn't separate wisdom from evidence, he unites them. And now modern science backs him up completely. Let's start with the basics. Multiple studies show that maintaining leg strength after 60 dramatically reduces the risk of falls, fractures, and even cognitive decline. Why? Because leg muscles aren't just for motion, they are deeply connected to the brain and circulatory system. When you move your legs, you stimulate blood flow to the brain, improving oxygen and nutrient delivery. One study from the University of Manchester even found that older adults with stronger legs had better long-term brain health and memory. In other words, your legs don't just carry your body, they carry your mind. And that's where this Japanese doctor's wisdom aligns so beautifully with modern research. He's been telling his patients for decades, if you want to keep your mind young, keep your legs strong. What sounds like an old proverb is now confirmed by neuroscience. Movement increases the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF, a protein that helps neurons grow and connect. Think of it as fertilizer for your brain. The more you move, the more BDNF you produce, and the sharper you stay. From a metabolic standpoint, strong legs are equally vital. Your lower body contains roughly 70% of your total muscle mass. Those muscles act like a sponge for glucose and triglycerides, clearing them from your bloodstream and keeping insulin levels stable. Lose that muscle, and your risk for diabetes, obesity, and cardiovascular disease skyrockets. The Japanese doctor understood this long before the data came in. He didn't use terms like metabolic syndrome. He just saw that the patients who kept walking, squatting, and moving daily rarely ended up dependent or bedridden. Dr. Robert Lustig has often spoken about the dangers of modern medicine's reductionist thinking, treating symptoms instead of systems. This Japanese doctor represents the opposite philosophy. He doesn't isolate muscles or focus on isolated fixes. His wisdom is holistic. Your legs, your metabolism, your heart, and your brain all form one continuous feedback loop. Strengthen one part, and you strengthen the whole. That's not mysticism, that's physiology. Another thing the science now validates is his emphasis on daily consistency over intensity. He teaches that 10 minutes of gentle, focused leg work done every day has more lasting impact than an hour of strenuous training once a week. Modern exercise physiology agrees. It's the frequency of stimulus, not the brutality of effort, that maintains neuromuscular connection as we age. You don't need to push your limits, you just need to show up every day. This approach also ties into the Japanese philosophy of Kaizen, small, continuous improvement. It's the idea that health isn't achieved through massive changes, but through steady habits maintained over time. That philosophy is baked into his practice. He doesn't prescribe expensive interventions. He teaches his patients simple, low-impact movements, squats, step-ups, heel raises, and asks them to make them a part of their life. Science now calls this habit stacking or low-threshold exercise, but he's been teaching it long before it had a name. And perhaps the most profound part of his teaching is that it respects the human spirit. Aging, he says, is not an enemy, it's a teacher. The goal isn't to stop time, but to move through it with strength and grace. When you use your body the way it was designed to move, to bend, to climb, you honor that design. Modern science now supports this truth with data on neuroplasticity, mitochondrial health, and hormone balance, but the principle remains beautifully simple. Movement sustains life. What makes this Japanese doctor's perspective so compelling is that it bridges generations and cultures. His wisdom doesn't reject modern medicine. It enhances it. He embodies what medicine should be, a balance between data and humanity, between the science of health and the art of living. He's living proof that longevity isn't achieved through resistance to aging, but through alignment with it. So when he says that 3 simple leg exercises can change the way you age, he's not offering folklore. He's offering a prescription rooted in both ancient understanding and modern science. His secret isn't really a secret at all. It's the truth we've forgotten in our search for shortcuts. Strength is the foundation of health, movement is the medicine, and consistency is the cure. That's the science-backed wisdom that can keep you climbing stairs and through life long after 60. Aging is inevitable. Decline is not. That's the distinction the Japanese doctor makes every day when he talks about what it means to grow older with dignity. Too many of us equate aging with weakness, slowness, and dependence as if it's a law of nature. But that's not biology. That's behavior. What truly defines how we age isn't the number of candles on the cake, but the number of times we choose to move, to act, to stay engaged, to keep using the body and mind we've been given. Aging gracefully isn't about resisting time, it's about aligning with it through action. In the modern world, we've medicalized aging. We measure it in tests, scans, and blood panels. We focus on what's breaking down instead of what still works. But the Japanese doctor at over 100 years old sees it differently. He views aging as a continuum of adaptation, a process that rewards motion and punishes stagnation. His message is disarmingly simple. The moment you stop moving, you start aging faster. Movement is not optional. It's essential. It's the signal your body needs to keep renewing itself. Dr. Robert Lustig often says that the biggest mistake in modern health is focusing on treating diseases instead of cultivating wellness. We wait until the system collapses before we act. But the Japanese approach, one steeped in both science and philosophy, sees prevention as a daily act of participation. The elderly in Japan don't exercise because they're trying to live longer. They move because it's part of who they are. Walking, stretching, squatting, these are not workouts. They're woven into daily life. Movement is ritual, not requirement. And that's the heart of aging gracefully through action, finding movement in the ordinary. The doctor often reminds his patients that climbing stairs, carrying groceries, or tending to the garden are forms of training. Every motion is a chance to tell your body, stay ready. You don't need a gym or a trainer. You need consistency and purpose. What matters isn't how hard you move, but how often you do it. There's solid science behind this wisdom. Studies from leading medical journals have confirmed that even modest, regular activity can reverse the biological markers of aging. When you move, you stimulate mitochondrial growth, those tiny powerhouses inside your cells that produce energy. Active muscles release hormones called myokines, which reduce inflammation, boost immunity, and even protect the brain. In short, movement doesn't just make you stronger, it keeps your entire body younger. The Japanese doctor might not use those terms, but he's been teaching that truth for decades. And here's the paradox. Movement gives you energy, not the other way around. People often say, I'm too tired to exercise, but fatigue is often a symptom of stagnation, not exertion. The Japanese doctor has a saying, the body rusts from lack of use. When you move, even gently, you increase circulation, deliver oxygen to your tissues, and stimulate your nervous system. That feedback loop creates vitality. Movement begets energy, which begets more movement. But action isn't just physical, it's psychological. One of the silent killers of aging is not disease, but disconnection. Retirement, isolation, and inactivity often rob people of purpose. Movement restores it. When you move, you engage not only your muscles, but your sense of agency. You remind yourself that you're still in control, still capable. That psychological reinforcement is powerful. Studies now show that people who stay physically active in later life also experience lower rates of depression, anxiety, and cognitive decline. The mind follows the body, and the body follows action. Dr. Lustig has long criticized modern society for replacing real life with artificial substitutes, fake food, fake joy, fake rest. Movement is one of the last remaining authentic experiences we can't fake. You can't download strength, you can't outsource vitality, you have to earn it. One step, one squat, one climb at a time. That's what makes it meaningful. The Japanese doctor isn't selling a program, he's teaching self-respect, the kind that comes from choosing to engage with your own biology instead of avoiding it. Aging gracefully through action also means adapting intelligently. The goal isn't to do what you did at 30, it's to do what you can at 60, 70, or 90, and to keep doing it well. The body changes, but it doesn't give up, it responds to whatever you ask of it. Ask for nothing, and it gives nothing. Ask for movement, and it responds with energy, balance, and strength. That's not optimism, that's physiology. And perhaps the most beautiful part of this philosophy is that it doesn't demand perfection. Some days your movement might be a brisk walk, other days it's a few minutes of gentle stretching. What matters is the act itself, the decision to participate in your own health. That's what the Japanese doctor embodies. At over 100 years old, he still moves every morning, not out of habit, but out of gratitude. His legs are not just tools, they're a declaration, I'm still here, still capable, still alive. So, if you want to age gracefully, stop waiting for the perfect plan or the right motivation. Just start moving. Climb the stairs, stretch in the sunlight, walk instead of sitting. Every small action compounds over time, not just in muscle or endurance, but in spirit. Because aging gracefully isn't about how little you lose, it's about how much you continue to give to yourself and to life. The Japanese doctor's secret is no secret at all. It's simply this: motion is medicine, stillness is decay, and the grace of aging lies not in resisting time, but in continuing to move through it.